It's been a lot of fun to watch you play the game. I know you got so many memories, so many things that you did throughout the course of your career. You know, when you think about it, man, these last couple of years for Coach Self and Kansas, how will you remember them?
Yeah, I will say, John, I don't think anybody works a room like you. I think you get the crowd fired up wherever you are.
Appreciate that,
it'll
man.
be tough because, obviously we weren't as successful as we wanted to be. Coming in there, we obviously wanted to compete for not only conference championships but national championships, and, we definitely fell short of those goals. But, it's just a different era now. People can't have the same expectations, I think, with, certain coaches and stuff like that, because it's a whole new era. Like, Coach Self and a lot of other coaches around the country are trying to build brand new rosters every year and trying to, make a team of 10 new guys gel together in a matter of 3 months to get ready for a grueling Big 12 season. So it's tough and it's hard, but, playing in Allen Fieldhouse was, a joy and a blessing that I will never take for granted. In my opinion, it's the best, college home court in all of college basketball. And it was just truly a blessing to be able to play for Coach Self. He's a Hall of Fame head coach, and I definitely learned a lot from him.
So, what's up, man? Good to see you, as always.
I told you if I was doing this, you would have to wear orange. You didn't.
I did not. I didn't have any orange.
You got a little going on there.
I had no real orange. I put it on. I don't give a shit. I've heard worse. This NIL era, you talked about it, and I kind of wondered how it would change things for you guys. I heard it from, like, Coleman Hawkins. I don't know if you saw it after Kansas State. He broke down crying. It's been hard for him because people know sort of what you guys are making for the first time ever. How hard is it to deal with that when you're pros but you're not really pros yet? It's all new.
Well, people had no idea what I was making because the numbers I was hearing, I was like, you got to cut that in half and then even down a little bit more.
I want to see your W2.
Yeah,
I love that he at least mentions the taxes because that shit is so true though. It's so true.
Absolutely, and I'm like, because I was like, if I made $2 million, I'd be a lot happier. I was like, hey, I'd be chilling if I was making $2 million. I wish, but it definitely changes the dynamic because, as a player, it can be really hard because it's a lot more pressure on you than a lot of people I think expected because now you're basically a professional athlete, and these people are looking at you as pros that are, you have to fulfill a job. They're no longer, college athletes who are, treated as kids anymore and stuff like that. So a lot of these athletes, especially coming from smaller schools and stuff like that, or freshmen, they have never dealt with, the amount of scrutiny at a place like Kansas for sure, where, you have the national media attention every game, and you have so many fans. I understand it, coming from a fan's perspective. I always, compare it to being a Bills fan. If the Bills lose a game, I get really mad. I've gotten close to DMing a player once. I won't say who. They dropped a pass one time in a big game, and I got super upset, and I said, "Damn, I'm no better than the guys in my DMs." I said, "Shit."
What were your DMs like this year? Seriously, what was that like? Social media, is it the gambling part of it more, or is it the losing part where people will give me like the worst DM you got?
I still get them to this day, so it's like, I've gotten so used to it. Like, since my freshman year, I've gotten them. I don't know. The gambling thing probably sucks more because, like, I'll have a good game and I'll have, like, 19 and 12, and then somebody in my DMs would be like, you MF, like, you couldn't get 20? And I'm like, bro, we just won by 12, like, on a ranked team, and I just had 19 and 12. Like, I didn't tell you to bet on me.
That's ridiculous.
And so, like, the gambling, I feel like the players' props would help a lot if they got rid of that.
Yeah.
But, the losing and stuff, like, it's got to come with it. Like I said, like, all these guys are getting paid high six figures. Some now are in the millions. It comes with the territory. At the end of the day, you got to realize, like, one thing that I always thought of is, like, bro, if you don't respect the person that's giving you the DM, like, you really can't take it too seriously. Like, I would understand if it's like, I always was like, in the NBA, like, people like Shaq attacks Dwight Howard, and I was always like, well, that's somebody who I feel like you can respect because it's Shaq. And it's like, it hurts, but like,
a little bit.
I would like, but it's Shaq. Like, if he's giving you criticism, like, that's someone who I feel like you should respect and, like, ask him, like, to teach you the game. But some of these people where it's like, especially no profiles and people with no followers and stuff like that, like, you can't really respect them because, if you always caring about what somebody thinks, like, you're always going to be looking for a validation. And in this game, I always said, like, half the world's going to hate you and half the world's going to like you. So it's like, you can't really try to look for validation from a lot of other people.
A little bit of a segue. First of all, I'm super happy that you didn't fucking cry and to start balling on TV.
I was tearing up. I was trying to hold it back because, like, I was trying to hold it back, but I think, with the KJ thing and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing that he tore his Achilles, but, like, obviously you can't say that to the media. And freaking, like, it was just tough, like, those emotions and then losing and, like, being like, damn, it's all over. Like, all this stuff is over. It was hard.
So you had no tears. You had no tears in front of the camera.
He didn't, man. He held strong.
Well, I was close. I wasn't going to let him see me crying, but it was tough because, like, it's so much emotion. I mean, like, when you really feel like you try to leave it all out there, and then especially
Which you did. Like, that's the one thing that this dude is misunderstood. Completely misunderstood. You talk to anybody at the Kansas on the staff, and they will say, this dude goes as hard as anybody in practice,
he's awesome.
in the games. And I think the one thing with you this year, really over the last 2 years, is some of the other stuff that you were doing at Michigan.
Yeah.
You cut that shit out. You cut it down to
that's
a minimum.
the one thing that
I missed some of it.
because Coach Self really, he really wasn't about it. So I feel like, especially this year, like I wasn't on any shenanigans.
Right.
But obviously I had the reputation of being a little bit of a jackass sometimes and being being like a little dirty. But that's kind of like when I grew up in like the DMV, and it's like
100%.
if you're a white guy playing basketball, like they're going to look at you as soft until you prove otherwise.
We've talked to him about this.
I fucking love that about him, though. I fucking love it.
When you're playing, and when I was playing, like when I was like 8 and 9 years old, like I was a big white guy. Everybody labeled me as soft, and I was like, once I got to middle school, I'm like, bro, like I'm not gonna keep. Like I hated that, and so I had to get a little dirty and talk trash and stuff like that, just so it's known that like you're not sweet. Because once people think you're sweet, they start attacking you. But I will say, like, I think early on in the season, I think I was on some BS where I was playing a little, not lazy, but I don't think I was playing as aggressive as I needed to. And then Coach kind of really sat us down as a team. And, I'll say I'll take the, the criticism early on in the season. But if you look at the last 10 games, I think that's when I really started to be aggressive and try to leave it all out there. And I think I averaged like probably like 24 and 13 like the last 8 games of the season. So I obviously I'm going to have haters, and it's easy to hate on me because, once you start getting that narrative of being a villain and then everybody wants to pile on, it's easy to hate on you. But like, I mean, somebody's got to do it. And I understood this early on that it's kind of like entertainment. Like, I've always tried to get guys into this, like fans into the seats and stuff like that. And you got to try to bring some entertainment to it. Like, it's a basketball game for sure, and you're trying to win. But like, it's always better to have a villain and somebody to hate because it makes the games more fun, in my opinion.
100%. And I'll ask you this. Like I said, a little bit of a segue, but what's next for you? I got a chance to see you. Ton of appreciation for your game. I love the fact that you do got a little bit of shit to your game, and the fact that I think a lot of people undervalue his basketball IQ. He's a fucking awesome passer. He understands offense. He understands motion. Yeah. He understands angles. He knows how to play the game. And I know already for you, Hunter, man, it's just getting started. You're going to make a ton of fucking money playing this game, man. But just talk a little bit about what's next for you.
I appreciate that. I mean, like, yeah, I would say, like, I understand some games I had bad games, but, like, I did average 17 and 10 this year and then 18 and 11. And then I got people in my DM talking about, like, I'm the problem. I'm like, I had 17 and 10. And then some people try to say, like, I'm like a stat sheet, like I'm like an empty stat guy. I'm like, bro, like, you can be like, people who know basketball, like, they can see a game and be like, oh, that player, like, really didn't play that well, but he ended up with, like, 20 and 10, but, like, he didn't really play that well. You can't do that for a whole season and do that. Like, 100%. You can't trick everybody for a whole year. Ooh. But
a whole year, you've done it for how many years?
You've done it for
you've done it really for
4 years.
And so it's just like, I mean, like, that's again, like, if I were to really.
No, answer his question, man.
I'm going to get to it in one second.
I don't want you to avoid it.
And so it's like, if people were to, like, that's what I'm saying, like, you can't really take people too seriously. Like, they don't, like, a lot of people really don't know ball. But to get to your question, I will, after this weekend, I'm doing the CBS stuff. I had some appearances here. Starting next weekend, I'll do my pre-draft stuff in LA and get ready for the draft, see where that goes. I feel like I'm pretty confident in where I'm at. Obviously this summer I'm going to pedal to the metal, try to grind and really get developed and try to, put my best foot forward for the NBA and see what happens. I mean, like you said, obviously there's a lot of different career paths I can go to, but I've been playing this game for so long. I feel like obviously I know I'm not the most athletic guy, but if you look at it, the skilled big men are coming back, and I feel like I can
totally.
I feel like I can really help a team. I feel like you said, with my IQ, and I think I can make players better, especially like with screens and stuff like that, getting people open. I think there's a spot for me in the league.
We talk with coaches all week, and we're all trying to figure out how college basketball can be better in the area where it's most chaotic right now. The portal, money, this rev sharing that's going to come about, so NIL, and how all this gets shaken out. I want to hear from a player's perspective, because my thought always is, well, what's really in it for the players? Why would they do this? But oftentimes when we talk solutions, we're like, all right, we would love a path to see a 2 or a 3-year contract where we see both sides agree it's good for the kid, they stay somewhere for a little while, they get developed, they are able to garner a real fan base that grows attached to them, and they also make some dough. Do you think that contracts would be a good thing?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing the NCAA could do is push back the transfer portal. I mean, it's so stupid that they're able to have guys in the portal while coaches are coaching. I mean, now, mind you, I don't really feel bad for, the coaches that are playing, because, I mean, they've been tampering with kids all year, so it's not like they're behind on recruiting. I mean, you could look at a guy like Izzo. I actually believe that he's not tampering with kids, but, like, a lot of the coaches that are playing in the tournament are tampering with kids, so it's not like they're behind by any means. But, like, it's so stupid how you can be in the portal and guys have to try to recruit kids while they're playing and stuff like that. So I think that's the first thing. But I definitely agree, John. Like, multi-year contracts, I think it would benefit the mid-majors the most. Because if you get a guy on a 3-year contract for 1.2, paying him $400 a year, and after the first year he wants to leave to another school and the school wants to commit to him, they got to pay that buyout of $800 so that they can bring that back into their collective and use for other people. I think that's the easiest way to try to do that. But, I mean, like, until they make any real changes, I know my agency is like, why would we not have our guys in the portal? Because it's like, I mean, you see it with a coaching. Like, the only reason why I don't feel bad for, like, mid-major coaching staffs now is because, look, if they go in there, win their conference, go to the tournament, win 3 games, they're going to leave for a job that pays them double, triple of what they do.
They have a portal.
Got more
so
resources.
Like, the only reason why they're mad is because they're not able to make that jump where their players are.
They're going to do the same thing once they
Exactly. And so it's like, bro, a kid who, I mean, it's hard to tell a kid who's making $200,000 at a mid-major, don't leave and make $1.5 million, because the numbers are freaking nuts.
How could you do that? Ain't gonna happen.
I'm looking at these big men now who are not even averaging double digits, and they're making more than double what I made
They're
this
making
year.
$2 million.
Because, like, I mean, I gave up money. I gave up 6 figures to come back to help our team get better, because obviously, like, everybody thinks Kansas has all this money.
Yeah, they didn't have it this past year.
We weren't even in the top
25.
15. I said,
Maybe
I
20,
told you,
25,
we weren't even probably in the top 25 in NIL spending. But they came up with the rumor that we spent $5 million last year, and we were all on the bus like, shit, who got the $5 million?
Where's that?
I said, hey,
Were you thinking that at all? Like in today's game,
I think
is some of that going to happen, Hunter, where guys are going to get pissed off?
Oh, absolutely. But, like, I think I'll say this. Our team, we weren't that good in terms of Kansas standards, but we were really close off the court. And like, we really made fun of the NIL stuff. Like that's, I think, how you got to do it. Like, you got to make jokes about what guys are making and stuff like that. Some people might be seriously joking. Like, they might be like, there might be some truth behind it. But I think we did a great job of kind of just, like, they're getting what they're getting. I mean, like, it was hard for people to kind of complain what I was getting. But again, like, I didn't get that much. Like, I gave up 6 figures
speaking, right.
to
If you were
try to
down in
help
the
our
portal,
roster get better, because I had to talk to my agent. I'm like, would I rather get the most money out of the portal, or would I rather have a good team? And I was like, this is my final year. I'd rather have the good team.
Just imagine the numbers that we all hearing and we know are
3
confirmed.
million.
20 and 10.
I know.
Walking 20 and
And
10.
I ain't touched 7
million.
figures.
What the hell
ain't
is
touched-
that?
Came around
You
at
didn't
the
touch
right
anything.
time.
I promise you I didn't make 7
you
figures
came around at the
each
right
year.
time, but not The best.
Not the best time.
Yeah.
Not
Oh
the
my
best.
God, hey,
Good time,
All
but
right,
not a
before,
great
hey,
I need a lawyer to try to give me another year. God, hey,
what's your
bro,
waiver? What's your waiver going to be for?
mental health, man.
Mental health,
There
baby.
you go.
Yeah.
They won't deny
My
you.
DMs.
My DM, bro.
All right,
you gotta
before
look
you
at my
go,
DMs.
I got to ask you. I walked out with Kelvin Sampson last night at the arena after the game, and I said, he was there for it. I said, like, I can't believe this. Like, how the hell did you do this? And he looked at me and he goes, you never coached. I believed the whole time. And then he said, he goes, you know what? We had 2 miracles at Fog Allen, and I think that really helped them believe they could win last night when they're down 14 with 8 to go.
If you look at their season, not only us, they were at UCF down 1 with like 3 seconds left.
Yes.
They threw it into Roberts.
Absolutely.
He had a crazy shot, won that game. They've had a lot of they've had a couple close calls this year, and that does kind of like help your team build some confidence and swagger when you're down on the road. Like I don't want to pick on Duke, but like playing in the ACC, I said it on my broadcast with CBS, like beating up on Cal and Stanford and like SMU by 30 every game
Does that help
doesn't
you?
really
Great
help
point.
you. Like
It's
it's
a great
it's
point.
great for you getting a 1 seed and helping your guys get better. But like Houston really had a grind in that conference. I mean, they went 19-1, so they didn't really have to grind too crazy. But like to be able to go 19-1 while having those games, I said, Duke, I don't know how you feel, but I know exactly how you feel. I mean, we were up 6 with 18 seconds left shooting free throws, and we lost that game.
No,
They
that
just-
game was might be the craziest ending.
They're-
Most unbelievable game
They're
I've ever seen.
relentless. Like they
That
don't
was-
Yeah,
stop.
what's it like for their bigs, Hunter? J1 Roberts, what is it like going against him?
I always said it was an ibuprofen game where you got to take that ibuprofen because I would always tell my team, like especially the freshmen and the young guys, like, look, it's gonna be a war. Like either you're gonna hit or you're gonna get hit. So like when the rebound goes
100%.
up, I know John. Like if you ask John this, like there's some guys where it's like he'll look, the big man's at the free throw line, and then he starts going back.
Yeah, no, they coming.
Every
They
freaking
coming.
time they're running, and so you gotta like you either gotta hit them like this or they're gonna get the rebound. They are relentless, and like it's just the culture with Kelvin Sampson. It's just a different breed. Like you can speak to it.
Yep.
A lot of kids ain't built for it. A
Nope.
lot of kids ain't built for it. And I think that speaks to why they're so good and retain so many kids because they believe in the culture, and that's what they want. They don't want the easy path. They want that culture of like we're gonna punk you every night.